Have you ever heard ball python breeders talking about, quote, hitting the odds and been in the dark about what that means at all? Well, you've come to the right place. So we're going to do a multi-part series on what breeders mean by, quote, the odds, as well as high-level information on genetics with a particular focus on snakes and ball pythons. If there's something specific that you would like to learn about animals, reptiles, or science in general, go ahead and throw that down in comments. Honestly, coming up with new video ideas is one of the hardest parts about starting a channel, so as much feedback as you guys are able to provide to me, I'll be able to find more video ideas that suit the things that you are particularly looking for, and I will probably run with a lot of those. So today we're going to be doing an introduction video for this series, and it's going to be all about what the odds are when we're talking about reptile breeding specifically. So there's going to be some industry terms, some that are going to be addressed a little bit later in the video, and some that might be addressed in some of our following videos in this series. So if there's something that you don't understand, feel free to ask about it in the comments, and if it's something that's in an upcoming video, I'll make sure that I let you know that there as well. Anyway, when calculating the odds, what we're doing is we're calculating the likelihood that a particular trait is going to show up and be present per egg. Now, don't feel bad if this starts to get a little bit confusing to you as we go on. It is a pretty confusing subject and is something that a lot of breeders even have to take some time sometimes when they're working on more complicated projects to really think about what are the odds that we're looking for and trying to figure out the right way to kind of pair up their snakes. Now, the odds are generally calculated using calculations similar to like the Punnett square, that square with like 4 boxes that you learned about in like biology class in 8th grade. So what this does is it looks at the traits and genes that are being brought in by each parent, and it calculates the likelihood that those genes are going to be passed on to their offspring. Like flipping a coin, prior events do not impact future events. So what that means is if you hatch out an egg and it does not have the trait and you've got a 25% chance, it resets after each egg. So it's not a situation where like, hey, I've had 7 of the 8 eggs hatch and I had a 25% chance, so this one's got to have it, because there's still only a 25% chance in that last egg that's hatching. And when breeders refer to, quote, hitting the odds in a clutch, what they're doing is they're talking about the number of eggs that they're expecting to show that trait in the clutch. For example, it's pretty easy math. If you've got an 8-egg clutch and a 25% chance of a gene showing up, then hitting the odds would be if you get 2 or more eggs reflecting that particular gene, because 25% of that 8 is going to be 2 eggs. So anything 2 or greater is going to be hitting the odds successfully for that clutch. So I hope you learned something useful today. I know that that was a pretty high-level introduction video to genes and odds in ball pythons. Next week we're going to be talking about recessive genes, dominant genes, and incomplete dominant genes. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you next week.